With a S at the end there? Manos es manos or mano e mano?
No, this is another sentence that is not mano a mano. It means something else.
What does it mean?
Don't fact check it. Come on, Darryl. Let's stick with the topic.
I can't be that fast. All right. Good evening, Mr. TK.
All right, Darryl.
I wore my Blue Jays shirt for the Raptors. Go Raps.
Okay. Go Jays. But
Fuck, the Jays. Raptors. Jays are just disgusting.
Game 1 losing streak is over.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
They're killing it.
They are champions.
Absolutely.
They
top NBA team right now.
They represent Toronto very well.
Yeah. They're tied in first for playoffs.
Making up for all the disappointing years the Leafs have given us.
You know what? That's going to take a lot more than winning an NBA championship. That's going to be about a decade, I think, of championships to be able to make up for that. But it's a start.
It's fun, anyways.
Start.
It is fun. We got a couple of things to talk about.
Well, I hope so.
I'm about to have a coughing fit, though. Hold on.
Well, we've got so many interesting things going on in the city all the time. We should be able to have hours and hours and hours of content, right? We're only doing this once a week, so we got to cram it all into to an hour.
Cramming it into an hour. And on that note, we should get into it. Where do we want to start, though? Because there's some really awesome stuff going on and some stuff I'm kind of sick of talking about going on.
Give me the pre-construction update, actually, because I haven't been active this week in pre-construction. So what's going on?
Pre-construction, I'm seeing lots of new launches, a lot of townhouses on the outskirts, a lot of single-family stuff on the outskirts.
I've been getting messaged.
A few downtown releases, and everything's selling. Like, demand is super hot. It's listen, it's
Bradford, Oakville,
all over the place. Yeah, I saw Oakville, I saw Etobicoke come out, all kinds of stuff coming out. But a lot of it, and I would say the majority of it, not in the downtown core, but definitely a couple of new ones. I think there's one called Jack's that just came out that's downtown.
I saw that.
And something by Empire down on the lake.
Empire Key, yep.
Yeah, but
I heard some are like really, really tough. Like there was one in Bradford where prices were like 280,000 or something like that, and it's like you needed a number in order to be able to even get into the lottery, in order to be able to even get a unit, and there's lineups for people just to get a number. It's like never mind even a unit, just to be in the lottery. There's people climbing over each other.
It's really crazy, and I mean if you see some of the incentives or just the deposit structures are so amazing, like 5%
in the first year
and 5% in the second year.
Yeah.
And
they're paying agents a little bit more. Builders are really like throwing everything at it in order to be able to be the site of choice.
It's not even listen, they're making it so easy for someone to pay $1,400 a square foot, right? Because it's like you're not closing this thing for 3, 5, 6 years the way things go these days, right? Maybe you're going to close it in 3 to 4 years if you're lucky. Okay.
Yeah, that's pace.
And if you're bullish on this market to have like, I don't know, what are you going to have? $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 sitting in something for 2-3 years that at current paces, pandemic or no pandemic, the price is going up like crazy in that time period, right? If history dictates anything in this city.
Sure.
So, I mean, if you're planning on investing in something, I mean, it's not the stupidest investment. I still think it makes more sense to just buy a condo that's already built if you're going to rent it out and just...
Especially in a market like this right now, you're going to get a steal of a deal. Why pay tomorrow's prices when you can pay prices from last year today?
That's right. If not like 2 years ago in some places, right?
Some places.
The problem with that, though, is that you're also timing a poor time to enter the rental market as a landlord, because prices are getting hammered right now. Like, we've lost everything we gained in the last couple of years in rental, but it's temporary. But I mean,
Yep.
that's going to be my theory, is that as quick as we saw rents come down, we're going to see them go up and up and up, way past where they were, but they're going to have to correct at some point, and it's probably still going to be quite a little bit, like I'd say at least half a year before we see the correction in the rental market, because more will come online 100%. And we'll segue at some point into our good friend Brian Jordan's comment about rental, because it's a good question. We'll get to it a little bit later, but there is a lot of supply, and it's by design. I mean, the government's been trying really hard to incentivize developers to start building purpose-built rental again, right? And they've given them some pretty good incentives. And
Have they?
well, I mean, enough that people are doing it again, right?
Yeah.
Right. And construction prices don't seem to be different anymore between rental and condo. It used to be that you would say you would build a rental building better than a condo building, because you're going to have to, like, you own it, right? So you're going to have to deal with all the problems later. But the reality is that, I mean, if there is a difference, it's so negligible, it doesn't really make much of a difference to the bottom line. And you look at it on such a different time period, right? Like a rental building, you're looking at over 15, 20, 30 years, whereas a condo, like, you're in and out maybe 5 to 7 years, right?
Yeah.
But the numbers to construct seem to be pretty close, that it's not a no-brainer to just build a condo. They've given deferrals on development charges for a considerable amount of time and for a reduced amount, so based on when you apply. And the financing that's available, I mean, I guess now it's not that dirt cheap, because you can get a regular residential mortgage for almost the same amount. But it used to be that the 1.25% that they were offering you if you were building a purpose-built rental was a really great deal. But now, I mean, there's an article here, and I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's like 1.84% for a mortgage, right?
Yeah.
Which is
So what
crazy.
you're saying, what you're saying is that not only are they going to get their development charges deferred, right? So they can look at it from tax sheltering purposes and stuff like that when they're looking at what they're putting out, but also reduced.
Reduced. Well, it's fixed at, like, when they apply,
Yeah.
right? So when
Okay.
they apply, so if it takes them right.
Yeah. Okay. So if it takes them 6 years to build, it's not going to go up. Okay. That was my understanding, that there was still not any breaks on the current development charge schedules.
Not that I know of, but I am
Yeah.
not an absolute expert in the development of purpose-built rentals. It is a very, very different way of looking at things.
Yeah. The way I look at it is this: you're building a purpose-built rental, most likely on a site that is generating very little revenue for the city, right? Like, generally speaking, it's probably just property taxes. Depending on where the location is, it could be $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year, and all of a sudden the city goes, "Oh, you guys want to develop." Like, they're already getting paid for all the services. So when you're looking at sewer and hydro and all that kind of stuff, they're getting paid for that in addition to the development charges. So it's like, why do they have their hands out? Because they're relying on it, right? Like, they need that money and they rely on that source of income, and it's because of poor management, right? Like, poor fiscal management on the city side is the reason why the rental prices have gone up. Like, you have to look at it like that. If they had only given these breaks initially, there'd be a ton more inventory, and there would never have been the shortage that we had over the last 5 years.
That is very true. And you made me think of, there was an article here. Hold on one sec.
I just find the city really knows how to make excuses for not giving tax breaks when they're needed. Like, we were talking about the land transfer tax, incentive, and all that kind of stuff.
So there's an article that was talking about the Villiers Island, like this new area in the Cherry Beach area, like the Spit, where the Google or the Alphabet, Sidewalk Labs was supposed to be.
Okay.
What are we calling that area again?
Waterfront, Portland.
Portland's. Thank you. So the city, according to this article, the city, just to like get some parks in there and to dig trenches for the water, they've spent like $1.25 billion. But in the article, they're basically touting how great the city is because as part of this plan, there's going to be affordable housing. And I'm sitting there going like, hold on a sec. They're spending 1.25 billion just on not even infrastructure like flood prevention. How is it possible that they can offer affordable housing on this land? Like, forget about the cost of the land and everything else that goes into developing the property. It's 1.2 billion to start off with. Like, I don't know any properties that are 1.2 billion, and I think there's only going to be like maybe 100 affordable units here. It's like, how is that the story? The affordable units.
As an investment, they're looking at the income that's going to be generated from it over the next 5, 10, 20 years.
It's going to be more than that. Like, we're talking
in the equation too, right? Is how much additional revenue are they going to get? Because
sure.
Right now the land is really not doing anything for the city.
But you know what? There's so many other places where they could like make affordable units on land that they've owned for 50, 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're rolling that out slowly, but it's just crazy. Like you're talking about fiscal responsibility. They spend $1.25 billion on this site downtown. I mean, like we have enough sites.
I'd like to see the study. Where's
Right.
who approved that? I want to know who the contractor is.
Right.
You know, who's he friends with?